There is an intelligence that is beyond your intelligence, and it is a cosmic intelligence. It is a universal intelligence. And here's the point where you get an opportunity to tap into that intelligence, to tap into an intelligence that is beyond your ability to think. Now, what happens then if this cosmic intelligence is tapped into by your desires and aspirations? Your desires and aspirations are changed. Your desires and aspirations are changed to move in a harmony with nature, and then you become cosmically intelligent. You begin to understand, see. But here's the point to all of this. You want to be part of this. You want to certainly finally find out, why are you alive? You know, what is the purpose of you being alive? What is the purpose of the planet Earth being this jewel in the middle of the universe with all of the mountains and the prairies and the dolphins and all of this beauty, and then people get a certain age and drop dead? I mean, what's going on? Who can solve these things? Who knows? I mean, it's time for you to become knowledgeable. It's time for you to become mature enough to, you say, gee, I begin to understand what I exist for. I never get tired of doing that little exercise we do, in which if you look around this room, and why don't you do that? There is not one thing that is in this room that you don't know what its purpose is. Everything has a purpose. Look around the room. There's this, there's the speakers, there's the books, there's the chimes, there's even down to a screw in this chair. You know what the screw is for. The screw is to hold the chair together. Everything has a purpose. And you know the purpose of everything, except if you look at one another, you have no idea. The most magnificent creations in the universe, you look at one another and say, what are you here for? I don't know. And that's a sin. That is a sin, because nobody's ever told you. You've never been able to find out, how do you define your purpose? You've never been able to find out how, and this is the point. You come into this life with no purpose. But in your life, you create purpose. You take that which is raw material, you take that raw material into that which is the creative aspect of the mind, which is in your head, and purpose is created. There's a reason starts to develop. But how do you get all of this knowledge? How do you find this out? You can't find it in the Bible. You can't find it from a teacher or a preacher. You can't find it from a church. You can't find it from a school. You cannot find it from any organization that exists on the face of the earth. And Jehoshua the Christ, Jesus as you know him, instructed you exactly. Take a look at page 847 in the Bible. He's talking to the Bible teachers of the day. They were called lawyers because they interpreted the law. They were the Bible teachers, the Bible scholars. And what does he say about you? What does he say about me? And what does he say about your existence? Luke chapter 11, verse 52. Woe unto you, lawyers, for you have taken away what? The key of knowledge. How come? You entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering in, you hindered. It goes on today in tremendous proportions. People hear about coming to meditate. They'll say, don't do that. You'll open your mind to devils. It's evil and all of that stuff. They're hindering people from entering in themselves. And here is Jesus, Jehoshua, saying, you've taken away the key of knowledge because you don't enter within yourself. So he says the key of knowledge is by doing what? Entering in yourself. Now, what, I mean, you know, I didn't say it. He did. And so then you should say, you're going to learn. You're going to develop. And what does it cost you to enter in yourself? Nothing. What do you have to join to enter in yourself? Nothing. Who do you have to prove to? Nobody. Where do you have to go? Nowhere. It can be anywhere. You can sit on the john. You can lay in your car. You can do whatever you want to do. You can enter in yourself all by yourself. You don't have to prove it to anybody. But you know what? It's too much for people to do. I was telling people in New York, it is the most difficult thing in the world to discipline yourself to do nothing and spend time with yourself. You must have something to look at. You must have something to say. You must have something to think. We've had situations where people come in here, get meditating. They're sitting by themselves and they can't handle it anymore and go up the stairs and stand out. Here they are on Route 9 in Forked River. Where are they going? They're looking this way. I don't know where I'm going, but I can't stand being with myself. And then they wonder why other people don't want to hang around them. You know, I can't deal with themselves. Hey, you know, I'm boring the heck out of myself. I can't take this. All right. You don't want to hang around with yourself. Who else wants to hang around with you? And that's the hardest thing in the world to do, because the society says what? You must be competitive. You must do this, you must do that, you must do the other thing. Find your hero. Well, you're such a scuzzball, you can't do it anyhow. Jesus did it all for you. Just sign the card and you'll go to heaven. And you sign the card and you still exist in hell. Because nothing has changed in here. And as long as the war goes on in here, the war will go on out here. When you make peace in here, you'll make peace out here. And that's what he was trying to say. So he says, the key of knowledge is found by entering in yourself. And you saw it in the book. Everything we see. Okay? Look at everything in the room that we talked about a moment ago. The chair, the speaker, the lights, the tree, the chimes, the ceiling. Do you know everything that you can see first was a thought? Nothing is in this room that wasn't first a thought. This chair was an idea somebody had. He designed a chair. I'll make a chair. It was a thought to somebody. This is how I'll do it. This thing was a thought. It was in somebody's head. He puts it on paper. Well, I'll put it here, I'll put it here. He thought about it, and all of a sudden he starts to put it together, and it manifests as a chair. Here it is. It's the manifestation of a thought. You are the manifestation of a thought. A cosmic thought. But you're the manifestation of a thought. Nothing can exist unless first it is a thought. Thought is therefore either one of two things. It is either very constructive or very destructive. See? The story of Adam and Eve is not Adam and Eve at all. It's Atom, as we know, the origin of the physical aspect of life. And the word Eve means life-giving spirit. So what do we have? We have thought here. We have the physical here. Okay? So what happens? The talking snake, which is not a talking snake, I hope you understand this. The talking snake happens to be your spine, which is a symbol of the flesh. The desire that comes from your body, the desire that comes from your ego, the desire that comes from your personality, suddenly strikes a chord within you, and you begin to think. Okay? And you may see somebody, you know, around the pool. All of a sudden, you start to get a thought. And other things start to happen when you get this thought. You know where I'm at here? What? Well, after we'll talk, okay? After this thought occurs within inside of you, something physical happens. It always comes that way. The thought always comes first, and then the physical. Sex is in the mind. Before it becomes in the body, it's a thought. Okay? Everything manifests as a thought. So what happens in the story is that Eve eats the apple first, certainly, because it has to become a thought before it can become a physical reality. See what I'm saying to you? It can't be a physical reality and then a thought afterwards. It has to be a thought first, and that's why Eve eats the fruit before Adam. Because the mind gives it to the physical. So here she thinks about it. When it says she ate the fruit, it means, okay, I'm going to do this. Now Adam eats it, means it's acted out, it's done. That's what that whole thing is about. Genesis is cosmic psychology. It has nothing to do with two people running around in a garden, don't have any clothes on, and a snake says, what's that down there? I don't think you have any pants on. How do you know? This talking snake told me. And I want to put this in school. This is going to be creation science. We're going to bring this into school by all the fundamentalists. Creation science shall be taught in the school. Okay, a talking snake tells these two people they don't have any clothes on, and we'll start from there. Silly, of course, but when you understand what it is cosmically, psychologically, you say, gosh, here is the development of the human mind. And then right after you have this development of thought and action, along comes Cain and Abel, which means you've moved from the primitive aspect of thought and action to the point now of inner conflict. Conflict, the left side and the right side. Cain and the right side Abel, and they conflict with one another. So human thought is cosmic spiritual power, and what it does, it works through the electronics of your brain. If they open your head, they find no thoughts, they find no desires, they find no dreams, and yet, here, want to do something? Just stop for a minute. Right now, take your mind and hear your mother's voice. Well, if you want to. If you don't like that, hear your son's voice or hear somebody's voice. But do it seriously for me for a minute, because there are people here that haven't heard this before. And just bear with me. What I'm trying to say is that you can draw to your mind out of your store bank, your computerized store bank, instantly a voice. Elvis Presley. Listen to him saying, 1 for the money, 2 for... Bang. The voice of Elvis Presley you can hear. You can hear the tone of somebody else's voice. You can draw it right into your mind instantly. Yet if a doctor opens your brain, where's Elvis Presley? He's not. I don't see Elvis Presley in here. Well, you don't have any records in there. You don't have any tapes in there. Where does it come from? So it's cosmic thought. It manufactures itself, yet it does not exist because it activates itself through the electronics of your brain. But yet it is a real situation. It is a real thing. So the key to life is, how do we use this powerhouse of electrical circuitry that either pulls you up or pulls you down? It's capable of doing either thing. Can make you extremely high, can make you extremely low. And there are doctors and other people that can also give you pills that can do the same thing. They can screw up the electrical circuitry and you can go through the roof, or you can come crashing down to the basement. Okay? Look at page 511, Psalm 92. Page 511 for just a minute. Psalm 92, okay? And in Psalm 92, page 5, look what's that. O Lord, how great are your works. Your thoughts are very deep. See? That's why Jesus and that's why all the patriarchs sit at a well. Because that which is the truth is located way down, deep down. And you've got to dig for the thoughts which we call God. Your thoughts are very deep. Look at Psalm 94, page 512. Psalm 94 and verse 19. What does it say? In the multitude of my thoughts within me, your comforts delight my soul. My thoughts within me, the comforts delight my soul. In other words, there is something that goes on. There is something that activates itself. You have 90% of your brain which is out of reach of you. 10% is 90% is what we call God's or the cosmic brain. And there is something that can be activated within that through this magnificence of meditation, this electricity of meditation. And it says here that in the multitude of my thoughts, I get so many thoughts, and it's called the monkey mind. Everything is swinging all over the place. In the multitude of my thoughts, you comfort delights in my soul. Go to page 615, Isaiah chapter 55. I want to show you something. Isaiah chapter 55. And in Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 7, it says, let the wicked forsake his way and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return to the Lord and have mercy, and so forth. Look at verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. So there is something within you that is a thought pattern that is not yours. There's something within you that is a thought pattern that belongs to that which we call the Creator, that which was the aspect of nature. And so in Matthew 6:25 to 6:33, Jehoshua, Jesus the Christ, makes this statement 5 times. Take no thought. I don't care if it comes from Billy Graham, if it comes from the Pope, it comes from me, it comes from your mother, it comes from your father, it comes from your son. It doesn't make any difference where it comes from. It comes from a book, comes from a teacher, throw it all away. Take no thought, because those thoughts come out of the minds of men and women. There's only one place where the divine cosmic thought comes from, and that's the creative power within inside of you at the right hemisphere of the brain. Take no thought, because those thoughts are our thoughts. They're not God's thoughts. So we have to move in a new way of consciousness. And that way we flow with the creativity within the mind. And what do you have to do? All you have to do is sit down. That's all. That is it. Sit down. That's all. Discipline yourself. 20 minutes. Spend 20 minutes with yourself. I know it's a challenge, but spend 20 minutes with yourself. And you know what you're going to say? This is useless. This is foolish. But when you say this is useless and this is foolish, take a look at what you've done for all of your life and then say what is useless and what is foolish. You know, where have you gotten in the years that you've been alive? Other than a little older. And then where are you going other than to a graveyard somewhere and accomplishing what? Doing what? Achieving what? I don't know. People come, you know, this is the great thing. Everybody's been buried out of the church for the last 2,000 years. Churches, how many funerals have been in churches? How many ministers have sprinkled coffins? And you know what? They're all waiting for the second coming and they've all gone. Right down the chute. Zip, 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 zip. They shove him out like a guy pouring coal down a chute. There they go. Goodbye, Emma. He'll be here soon. Goodbye. It's just coming as soon. It's going to be short. And they're all gone. Where'd they go? Where'd everybody go? Did he come back yet? Is he here? Are we here yet? No, he's gone, Emma. He'll be back later. And they still say it. He's coming soon. These are the last days. They're all gone. They're all dead. Everybody died. And he didn't come. Because they didn't look within. They looked without. They're looking for somebody flying over Kennedy Airport, coming on a white horse, flying over Kennedy Airport, dodging 747s. This guy, there he is. No, he isn't. It's Superman. No, it's a plane. No, it's Jesus. No, I'm crazy.